Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Disability Channel, the Today Show, streaming live today on Facebook pages, Your Home TV, the Disability Channel Facebook page. We're like in about 5 or 6 places right now. So, just waiting for our founder to join us. And of course, we have a guest today. I'm Dr. Laurie Davis coming into you from the beautiful northwest of Canada with, believe it or not, wildfire season has arrived. Oh my gosh. We had 2 days of smoke and it brought back all the memories of an evacuation this time last year. Our whole town was evacuated. So it's just been a little nostalgic that way, and hoping those fires stay far, far away from us. But of course, as you know, the smoke can travel anywhere. And so we're feeling the effects of that very poor air quality. Today, we're going to be talking with Dr. Patricia Crane, and one of my favorite people in the whole world. And she just has the most amazing story, and she's going to share the life and work of Louise Hay with us. Also, just remember that we are always really grateful on the channel for a variety of things. Of course, our partnership with Your Home TV and the Disability Channel itself, and all of our beautiful guests, and of course, prizes and gifts. And here he is. Well, here he is. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I had a little bit of my computer would not let me in properly. Oh, now I'm off again.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. What's going on?
We can hear you, though. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Let me just. I think my camera just went off for some reason.
Okay.
Yeah, my computer's
Well,
playing. Morning. My computer's playing tricks on me this morning. I don't know what's going on.
Right. So You're here for a few minutes. Let's talk about the Disability Channel and what we do there for those who haven't heard yet.
Yeah, I'm going to see how long I can hang in there today. I know I have a couple meetings, but I think I can hang out for a little bit. Yeah, so just again, for people who are tuning in for the first time, we are the Disability Channel, a channel by and for persons with disabilities and veterans, showcasing abilities in media through our Ontario, provincial, and federal government programs for persons with disabilities and veterans. So we've been doing this platform now since about 2014. We've been involved with the Ontario government since about 2016, and now we're involved with the federal government as the Disability Channel is also a vendor for Veteran Affairs and veterans across Canada. So we're really excited about offering our programs to the most vulnerable community, persons with disabilities, and our heroes, right, our veterans. So, and then we're a full-fledged media company. So we have a radio show with our good friends at Sirius XM, channel 167, Canada Talks, with my good friend Bilal. Wonderful people at Sirius XM. We have a great affiliation with iHeartRadio down in the United States through Zen. And of course, our partners with Your Home TV, the guys Sean and Dominic and Dana and Stephanie, and of course, the big cheese, Kathy Ireland. So she's a world famous supermodel, right? So we're really excited. And again, and then we produce all different types of shows. So we produce a music show, which is sponsored and supported by AMG worldwide producer Mark Berry. You're going to be checking him out more on our platform, along with Dwayne, another great member at AMG, and all their great things. It's a great platform if you're an independent artist, musician especially, but they also do film, television, and music. So if you're in the arts, give me a call. You never know. They're always looking for talented people. And because we have a vast reach with the Disability Channel, especially through our media campaigns, we're always out there looking to help people, whether you're an artist, whether you're a person with disability, whether you're an able-bodied, whether you're a vet. You know, we're located downtown Toronto, and obviously what Laurie's doing out there in Alberta, it's great, Laurie. Like we've always wanted to sort of, expand across Canada. We just had to find the right fit, the right time, the right moment, the right focus. So with you coming on board, courtesy of Doug, like Doug, got to give a big shout out to Doug, right? Doug's our former NHL players, or Doug Smith, check him out. He was drafted in 1981 behind world famous Dale Hawerchuk. So if you're a hockey fan or player, everybody knows who Dale Hawerchuk was. Unfortunately, he just passed away a couple of years ago. Really sad, because he was only, well, I'm going to say he's probably around my age, around 58 or something like that. It could be a couple years older or younger. But what a hockey player, what a gentleman, what a professional. Winnipeg Jet for life. So lots of things going on. We also have a car show, TDC Classic Cars. We have a high profile show called Sweet 303. We have an entertainment show hosted by Nick. Nick's a member of the UN now. Nick also has dementia, or not dementia. I'm sorry. He has Down syndrome. Sorry, my dad has dementia. So I'm dealing with my dad every day. So sorry, I apologize for that. But yeah, so Nick has Down syndrome, but we also are all big on supporting people with autism. We do the whole spectrum. So if you have a disability like myself, which is internal, I have familial Mediterranean fever, right? So unless you know me personally, you probably think, well, you're a 6 foot guy, 180, you look good, but I have an internal illness. And a lot of people have that. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't, I don't know, they don't acknowledge, or they don't understand that when you see somebody who looks good, who acts good, you're okay, but they don't know what's going on inside. And then obviously all the outside abilities and disabilities. So yeah, so I can go on and on and on. If you want to check out more information, you can go to our website, www.thedisabilitychannel.ca. But Lori, why don't you tell our viewers, our listeners, what's going on for today? And I'm going to actually share the link on our Facebook page. Please do comment, because we get a lot of interaction. So I'm going to hand it off to you, and I'm just going to do some social media while you're speaking, if that's okay.
You betcha. Well, today, just as a reporting that and sharing that we are now already have started our wildfire season here in the West. And even though we were evacuated last year, we were out of our house for 2 weeks. The fire was all around us. They're licking our doorsteps. I'm telling you, the flames were terrible just down here at the town entrance. But now it's north. It's Grand Prairie, Alberta, and also the famous Fort McMurray, Alberta, which burned down about 5 years ago, the whole town. So it's just incredibly devastating and scary. So just letting people know, if you're in the Northwest, just be mindful of the air quality. If it's smoky out there, keep your doors and windows closed. Don't let that air in. It's really detrimental for seniors and young children. So keep your kids inside. And that's really the big news here in the West right now. But that smoke, believe it or not, can come over the Rocky Mountains from British Columbia into Alberta, and we can be experiencing that here from fires in a totally different part of the country. So that's where we're at with that.
Well, we had them just a little while ago too. I think during, what was it? I think it was during the COVID mess. Yeah. We had lots of fires up north, and remember in Quebec too, right? That was just like last year, right? Remember, did you see that? Yes. Remember seeing that New York City when it was all it was really, it was all red or whatever. I can't remember now, but it was really bad, the air quality. So well, hopefully the people in Alberta, you guys always get it out there. So hopefully you guys will be okay, right? Hopefully it'll be okay. So I did want to mention a couple of things before we go to break. So we are having now we are the media for Veteran International Charity now. So they updated their name. It used to be Veteran House Charity, but now they're international. So if you want to check out our website, great update. We're going to go around the world helping veterans. And they've also started their second 50-50 draw. So get your tickets. And we have some new updates regarding 50-50. So if you're looking to add a 50-50 to your event and you're into helping veterans get a new opportunity, and you might want to win some money, hey, call us, because it's a 50-50. Our last 50-50 raised almost $2,700. So this time is going to go, and we've kind of updated a little bit the 50-50. So what's going to happen is this goes 50% goes right to the winner. 50% goes towards the disability channel for our employment programs for persons with disabilities and veterans, for people who cannot afford to enter our programs, even though they are free. Sometimes there's stipulations, meaning you got to qualify. Like if you're a veteran, you got to qualify through the VA. If you're disabled, you got to qualify through the disability program. And sometimes they don't, right? So we try and bridge the gap and
Mhm.
and help people. So right now, we have our 50-50 going on. The draw is going to be on May 31st. You can go to our Facebook page, the Disability Channel, find out all the information. We also have a GoFundMe page. So if you want to check out our GoFundMe page. And so who's on the show today, Lori?
Well, we have a beautiful guest today. Her name is Dr. Patricia Crane. Thank you for asking. And she's an author. She's a trainer. She has lots of great information about self-care. So that's our theme, of course, on Mondays. It's self-care, self-improvement. And we're going to run a little 30-second break here and then bring Patricia in. And this is an opportunity for you to be thinking about our viewers and supporters out there, a way for you to be able to support the show and our programs via donations, sponsorships, or maybe you'd like to take this little spot and advertise your product, program, or service. And just to mention that our reach is far. And the other thing I want to say, Jay, I thought about this on the weekend. When somebody buys a spot on the show, we have absolutely no idea how many people get to see that, how many times it's run. People go in after hours and watch the show, and there's your product. So it's not just for the moment of the day, it's forever.
Yeah, let me get a little update on that, because that's really good that
Yeah.
you touched on that, Lori. So because we have 15 plus platforms. So right now, this is live on Lori's platforms. It's live on the Disability Channel platforms, and it's live in the United States on Your Home TV. So Your Home TV alone, right? And it's the United States, but it's so it's streaming, so it's everywhere, but the focus is the United States. That receives over 1 million views a month, that platform. And we're live on that platform, right? So right now, I'm not saying we're going to get 1 million views a month, but we're going to get a ton of views on Your Home TV. And then what I have my team doing now, part of our graduates, is they're going to be editing this show that we're doing live, and they're going to be putting all the bells and whistles on it, which they already have it, but just a few more, maybe credits or the commercials. And then it's going to be going out again. So, I mean, for instance, I know on Your Home TV, because I'm on their dial with our other shows, so it's important to explain this to our potential sponsors or supporters. So when we're on the dial, so I probably send them, say, 15 shows a month, right? 15 complete shows, and they put it in the dial. And I know just on an average, and we haven't really started promoting it yet, really, because it's a new relationship. It's a new business relationship with Your Home TV over just like about 6 months. But I know those shows were getting in excess of 4,500 views a show without any promo. Like we were just sending them the shows, and they were just putting it on the dial, right? So they weren't promoting it. There was no campaign attached to it. The Disability Channel was not doing its thing, really, because we were doing other things at the time. So what I'm saying now, we've been putting a lot of effort into this show, and I'm going to check out the analytics because this is our second week. So I just want to see how our first week went. But this is going to be, so like I said, this show could get, I'm not going to say 1 million views a show, but it's going to get a lot, right? And we have a lot of attachments, a lot of viewers. And one thing the Disability Channel does have is access, right? We have total access to so many sectors within the business world and the community and the disability world, the sporting world, the music world, the veteran world. We have access. Basically, because I do the business development and communication. So basically, when I do new meetings with people who've never heard of the channel, and I give them our tagline, and then I tell them what we do, I've never had anybody say, "Oh, I don't like that. I hate that. Oh, that's bad. Oh, why do you do that?" I've never had anybody say that to me. No, I'm also saying I would love more people to jump on and support tangibly, because they do support verbally. They all love what we do. I get the pats on the back. I get, "Way to go, Jay. Your team's doing an amazing job." But the more we get the community on our side, the more opportunities we can offer. And what we're trying to do So we're trying to express and give a positive message every day. There's so much negativity in this world. Everybody seems to be mad at each other. Nobody can do it right. I'm right. You're wrong. It's just, we just need to stop that. I love what I won't mention it, but there was a real famous actor just recently being interviewed by a real famous host. Okay. And it was a negative discussion. I'm not going to say the topic, but it was a negative discussion. And the iconic actor, who's, let's say, in his 80s, just looked at the host and said, "Stop it. Just stop it. Like, stop with what you're saying. It's wrong. It's not right. You know it's not right. Stop it." Right? And he goes, "I'm 80. I'm in my 80s. So what you're talking about, I lived it. And I don't have a negative bone in my body. So stop it."
Wow.
It was really powerful. And he stopped it. The host, he got it. Like, he got it. Stop spewing negativity 24/7. It was really enlightening. It was really, spiritual. It was really good. It was a really good, and they went on, and the interview was great. He didn't get mad at him. He just sort of opened his eyes and just said, just stop it.
Yeah. Cool.
It was great. It was great. Anyways, I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, that's powerful. Thank you.
I thought it was good.
We're all about that, and you'll discover that in our guest today too. That's what she's all about. So
I'm very excited.
And her work in the world. So just we'll take our little break and bring Patricia on. Welcome back to the Today Show. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show, Jay, our founder of the Disability Channel, and our very special guest, Dr. Patricia Crane from Lake Arrowhead, California. Welcome to the show, Patricia.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here and share what I know and just get to see you again and meet Jay. It's wonderful.
Yeah, for sure. Yes, Jay, meet Patricia. And
hi, Patricia. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm on with two doctors this morning. I better step up my game here.
You better behave yourself. That's
I assure you, I'm not scary at all.
No, me either. Anyway, Patricia's work in the world. Many years ago, I was introduced to a book called "You Can Heal Your Life" by Louise Hay. This is my third copy because I wore the other ones out. Mine looked like that. This is my Bible. Actually, if there's anything wrong going on in my body, I just go to the back because Louise was and I'm not going to steal Patricia's thunder. She knows a lot more than I do. But having been a fan of Louise, Louise passed away, maybe 3 years ago now, Patricia?
No, actually 2017.
Yeah. Really? That long
ago?
I know. Wow. She was in her 90s. But anyway, she was the first person to say that if you have something wrong with you physically, there's probably an emotional connection. So over to you, Patricia, just to talk a little bit how you were introduced to Louise, and you knew her, you met her.
Absolutely. I studied with her for years. And I just want to say too that, it's been said that 90% of life is showing up, and Laura, you certainly show up a lot, really bringing your wisdom to people. And it's nice to meet Jay and learn about this channel. It's just amazing. I almost didn't show up to something years ago, and I'll tell you what happened because I did show up. I'm here with you today and talking about Louise. A massage therapist friend of mine called me and said, "I'm going to this holistic breakfast networking meeting, and would you like to go with me?" And I said, "Well, when is it? Where is it?" And it wasn't too far from my house, but she said it was 6:30 in the morning. And I have to tell you, I'm not really the best morning person. So I told her, okay, find out who's speaking, because I'm not just getting up that early for anybody, you know. She called me back and she said, Louise Hay. I said, I'm there. And I had years before bought Louise's book, the Heal Your Body book, which really is what Lori was talking about. That was the initial one. And then it's also included in the You Can Heal Your Life book. And I already had Louise's book, You Can Heal Your Life. And at the time that I was asked to this breakfast meeting, I felt like her book, of all the books I had read about the mind-body connection and the spiritual work, etc., really Louise had brought it all together in the emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual work, and it just in a beautiful way that was so accessible to people. Now, when I met Louise at the breakfast meeting, she was not yet a best-selling author. The book was out, but I'll tell you how the bestseller started. And so I talked with her after the meeting, got on her mailing list, went to the first week-long intensive she ever led, and just started studying with her then. After the second one, she asked me to be on staff with her. And long story short, that's evolved into a worldwide training program, and we train people to lead workshops and do life coaching. But Louise's work is transformational, and it really fits, Lori, with what you were saying. She empowered people with her work and also brought forward the self-care. And Louise's main message was love yourself. Just love yourself and accept yourself the way you are right now. Don't wait for something else to happen. You know, find the perfect job, lose the weight, find the relationship, whatever it is. Just begin to love and accept who you are right in the moment. And that's certainly not easy for a lot of people. And when she was first starting that, message, it wasn't mainstream. It's pretty mainstream today, wouldn't you say, Lori? I mean, people really understand that message now, but then it was really a pretty novel concept. And Louise has also been called the Queen of Affirmations. And I love affirmations. I started using them even before I met her to change my life. But I want to tell you, one time Louise at one of her big meetings was asked, she said, well, this woman said, Louise, I hear all the time, love yourself, but how do you do that? What are some of the practical steps? And Louise said, the very first thing is stop criticizing. Stop criticizing yourself, become aware of your thoughts, where you're telling yourself good enough, you'll never make it, you've got to change, etc., etc. She said, just stop criticizing. Now, if you think about it for a moment with people who are listening and us, that's not so easy, is it? Because it's become sort of automatic. We learn that growing up. We get a lot of messages about things that aren't okay with us. And so actually stopping the criticism does take some time and awareness. But that's the very first thing that Louise said. And then she went on to talk about positive affirmations, your mindset, really think about the forward-looking, what is it that you want in your life, and being able to change that. Yes, a question?
Yeah, a question if I may. I put my hand up. I put my hand up.
Sure.
I'm just wondering, when you say criticizing yourself, do you think that can have a lot to do with the family household, especially your mom and dad?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And in this work, we do a lot of awareness about what we call the inner child, that young part of you that has internalized all those messages and said, you're not good enough for whatever reasons, or you're not smart enough, or you're not, whatever it is. Yes. So, and parents don't mean to do that. I mean, they come from their own space of understanding and awareness. But unfortunately, it happens no matter how great an upbringing you have.
I was going to ask that because I was like, I've been very lucky. I have two great mom and dad, right? Great mom and dad who just set me on the path to succeed. It's up to me if I succeed, but they set me on a path. They, taught me between right and wrong. But I'm saying that because I grew up with a lot of people who didn't have that opportunity. They weren't that lucky. They did not have parents that were in the same mold of my parents. And I feel like some of them, it affected them a lot, and some of them it didn't. So I thought I'd just bring that up and thought, get your feedback on that, Patricia.
No, and it's really important to go into that past and connect with what messages you were taught. And I was very fortunate also. I had a very wonderful childhood, basically with my parents. My grandmother was the one who loved telling me that I wasn't good enough. She thought that boys were great and girls were not. But of course, that's because she didn't feel valued, you know? And so she didn't want me to, as she would call it, don't get too big for your britches, you know? So she wanted me to just damp down. But my husband, who's an incredible man, has made a tremendous transformation in his life. You know, he grew up with alcoholics and a very abusive stepfather. So he found Louise's work before we even met and has made a huge transition in his life. And we teach Louise's work together. But that's where it starts, is really identifying what were those old messages that really make you feel like you're not good enough. And then all of Louise's work is really about letting go of those and accepting the beauty and the amazing and person that you are, and empowering you to be the presence in the world that you are really meant to be. You know,
can that go too far though?
And say what you mean. How can it
so
go
when
too?
you think you're too wonderful?
That's ego. That's the ego.
Arrogant.
Yeah, that's arrogance and that's ego. And what you will find is the people who do feel insecure inside, they're the people out there acting like they're, you know, it's too much. And it's because really they don't feel good enough. You know, when you really get in touch with, you know, just that feeling of I am enough, I have a presence in the world, I have a place to be and gifts to share. And you do that see, a lot of Louise's work is also spiritual. It's not about just augmenting the ego. It's about the spiritual part of you coming forward as well.
And how about this particular lane? And I think this is where I fall in. My lane would be, I've always believed that I can almost do anything and I'll try it. Like I believe, like I'll give you, for instance, okay? And Lori knows this, right? So I was a corporate guy till I was in my early 30s. Okay. I had an opportunity to sell my corporation, which I took over from my family. Okay. So I had an opportunity. I had a competitor who wanted my location, right? So I said, okay, make me an offer and I'll sell it. And I sold it. But I was 32. I didn't know I was in retail my whole life. So they said, well, my parents said, what are you going to do? And I went, I don't know. I don't know. I'm 32. I don't know what I'm going to do. I've been selling merchandise since I was 15 years old. I worked for my mom in retail for my whole life, basically, right? So I've had a little bit of a fun life. So Lori knows this. So I said, I'm going to get into the entertainment business. I'm going to get into it. And everybody looked at me and went, like, do you even know how to turn on a television? Like, what do you mean? You never went to any drama classes. You never was on the stage. What are you talking about? I said, I'm going to do it. So I wrote a book. And 20 years later, now my book, because I banged on every door in the world and got kicked out of every room in the world, my book now is turning into a television series.
It's great.
And 20 years ago, I said that. I said, I'm going to get this book. I'm going to turn this into, well, I said a film, right? A feature. And everybody looked at me like I had 7 heads, like, except for my mom and dad. My mom and dad said, God bless you. You know, God bless you. Okay. Like, okay. But so I think I fall into a category where if I believe I can do it, I'm going to do it. Like and the same thing with that song that I wrote. And people are going, what are you going to do with this song? Well, blah, blah, blah. Lori knows, right? But because I think I'm a dreamer, but I dream real, real high. Like if I'm going to dream, I'm going to dream big. And then I'm going to chase that dream. And I do not let anybody say, get lost. Like, no, give up. Da, da, da. I don't know what category that would be, because I believe I can do it until I can't. But I'll try.
Okay. Well, and that's great. And you're contributing so much with this channel and with your book and with the series that's going to come out. But I think you're talking about your background, that you were really given a lot of encouragement. That makes a difference, you know, because when you grow up with all the messages that say you can't and you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not this, you're not that, you're the other thing. And yet, if you look at some of the people who are in the entertainment business that you would never have expected to make it, you know, somewhere within them either that was truly their life path. And I think that if you're really open, regardless of what your background is, that you're guided on your life path and what your special gifts are to give the world, right? And so actually, I didn't really meet Louise until I was in my early 40s. And I knew years before that that my life was going to be about service. And every job I had was in some way about service, in the welfare department, in the rehab business, you know, all kinds of jobs like that. But when I met Louise, I knew that this was the path I was supposed to be on for the rest of my life.
Our
So
page
that
is
I,
our page
yeah.
is blown up, by the way, our Facebook page. So I'm promoting as we're speaking.
Okay. Great.
All right.
Thank you.
So when I
So
look down, that's what I'm doing. I'm not ignoring you, Patricia. I'm
right.
I'm doing the social media for the show.
Fabulous. Oh, that's fabulous. So it was amazing working with Louise. And again, I want to share a few more of just the things that she said on how to love yourself,
Perfect.
because I think those are really important for people to think about. And one of the tenets is that don't scare yourself. You know, people have scary thoughts about the wildfires. I mean, there's something practical there. And I certainly pray that everyone stays safe with that. Here we are in Los Angeles, people worry about earthquakes. Well, you know, how often do you worry about an earthquake, or how often do you worry about something happening? And it's not that you don't have concern and preparation, but Louise said, don't scare yourself. Have an image that feels comforting to you if you can. She was also really big on nutrition and exercise. Louise had cancer when she was in her, I think it was her late 50s. And she went on a search for all the techniques that would help her. She decided not to have chemo or any other treatment, but she took 6 months off to really focus on her own health. And she came up with a nutrition plan called Eat Right for your blood type. She did a lot of affirmations, visualization, and Louise grew up in a very abusive household. So she also did a lot of therapy, you know, to release the anger. So that's a big part of her work as well, is to really get in touch with the resentments that you might be holding, the guilt, the anger, and to begin to process those, to release those. And of course, right along with all of that is forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And forgiveness is actually the number 2 way to love yourself that she has now. A lot of times when we do the forgiveness work in the trainings, it's okay, it's about a lot of other situations and other people, but it's often about yourself because you feel guilty about things that you did or didn't do, anger that you're holding about certain situations. So we really work on that to release all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say forgiveness,
Mhm.
I'm just asking it because this is great. I love this. I love this. So if somebody has a lot of anger in them because
Mhm.
they were wronged, they feel
Mhm.
they were wronged,
Mhm.
but they know it's right to forgive, right?
Mhm.
How can people, like, what do you suggest for people to get rid of that
Mhm.
ego slash anger? Because you know it
Mhm.
has ego in it too, right? Like you don't
Sure.
want to.
Yeah.
How do you? Is it just a time period over time, or
It is usually step by step. And you know, you've heard the analogy about the layers of the onion. I don't like that one. I like peeling the artichoke, because when you get the layers off of the artichoke, what do you get? You get to the heart. You
Mm-hmm.
get to the heart. And so the focus is on that. Really, forgiveness is about freeing yourself. You know, it doesn't really pertain to the other person. They'll never know about it. They'll never even, sort of acknowledge it. My husband's stepfather, who is very abusive, when he talked to him at one point in his later life about how abusive, he said, I didn't do anything. He wasn't even aware. Wasn't even
wow?
aware. But I also study A Course in Miracles, which Louise did as well, a very spiritual course. And it says, you don't have to know how to forgive. Start with the little willingness. Just saying, I'm willing to forgive because it's going to free me. And it may take a while. When I was doing the forgiveness work with my grandmother that I mentioned earlier, it took me a number of years to really feel like I got through that completely. So now I can say I love and appreciate her, and I understand that she was doing the best she could at the time. But it is a process, Jay. It does not happen one time or just overnight. But the willingness starts it, to say, if I'm holding that resentment and that anger within myself, I'm actually hurting myself.
It'll
And
destroy you.
Yeah, and you don't condone
yeah.
the other person's behavior
Yeah.
or situations. And in fact, one of the tenets that I bring up in terms of forgiveness is we do a prosperity course as well. And a lot of people have never thought about, gee, I need to forgive some of the people that betrayed me financially, or the old stories I learned from my parents that said, you'll never make it, you never get ahead, there's only so much to go around, and things like that. So there's really a lot of awareness and releasing to do, and it happens throughout life. We don't get to, just do it all in a few workshops. It continues ongoing, and it's powerful.
Yeah.
This is great.
I have something to say about that too,
Sure.
because we share that too, that loving self is pretty much about forgiving self. So, you can't really love yourself till you do that. But when Jay, you were talking about, your parents and believing in you and all, when I went into high school, my marks weren't that great out of junior high. And my homeroom teacher said, Lori Jeffers, what? You're never going to amount to anything with marks like this.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, okay.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for the encouragement. And then what did I do? I became a teacher. I thought I'll show her. And I did. But welcome today to Hohawk Man. Hohawk Man needs to get in touch with me because he was a prize winner last week. So I have no idea how to reach out to him. And visiting this morning is Prince Fleet Easton from Palm Springs, California. He's going to be our guest on Friday because he's a showman, showbiz, all his life. So back to you, Patricia. We're going to take a little break.
Yeah, I think I'm going to, when we go to break, I'm going to remove myself. Also, Patricia, you're going to receive some online gifts courtesy the Today Show. So Kathy will be in touch with you. But I could talk to you all day. I got tons of questions. This is great. I love this just because I don't know. It's just I think I'm self-aware, and I know I have like a ton of flaws. So I love constructive criticism because I'm always trying to improve myself day by day, I guess. But yeah, no, I really appreciate this. So I'm going to remove myself. Hope you guys have the great remaining of the show, and I will be sharing because I got my phone. So I'll be sharing. I'll be sharing. Okay, guys. Thanks so much. We'll talk next time. See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow, Jay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We'll just take a little break, catch our breath, and then we'll come back, Patricia, you and I, okay?
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Today Show here on the Disability Channel, streaming live right now on about 15 platforms. I didn't know exactly how many it was, Patricia. I thought it was maybe 4 or 5, but oh well. And Prince Fleet has just left a nice comment. Oh, talking about you. So I'm going to put it up there. She's right on our consciousness stream. Right on our consciousness stream. Yes. Now, you have some of your own books or book. How many?
I have 2 now, and my first one was primarily about affirmations, and it's called Ordering from the Cosmic Kitchen. And I like that playful kind of idea that you're in a cosmic kitchen, you put in your order, and it comes back to you, because sometimes we can get so serious about our affirmations. And they're really meant to be fun and playful as well. So my book has a lot of playful, just scenes in it and things like that you can look at, but it's primarily about affirmations. And then I wrote another one very recently called 11 Steps to Achieve Your Dreams. And instead of just saying go do it, like Nike says, it's really about setting the foundation, setting that inner foundation with the meditation, with getting in touch with your life purpose, and with affirmations. And of course, I really learned a lot about affirmations with Louise. I was already practicing them, actually, because I learned about them a number of years before I met her and before her book was even out. But that's a big part of what I really focus on as well, affirmations, visualizations, because again, if you're becoming aware of what your thoughts are, you want to change them. And so there are several main areas, self-love, of course, which we're talking about, but also prosperity and career, health, relationships, those things as well, to really look at what would you like to create in your life around those areas. If they're already doing great, that's wonderful. Just keep saying, hey, they're doing great. But if you want to change things, you want to do your affirmations around those different things. And I think one of Louise's just areas of greatness was that she wrote so many beautiful affirmations. And if you don't mind, Lori, I'd like to actually read one little section
Yeah,
from her book that's one of my favorites.
of
And
course.
in Louise's book, those of you who may not have read it before, at the beginning of each chapter, she has a series of affirmations. And one thing that really impressed me when I met my now husband is he had memorized these in the
Oh, wow.
beginning of each chapter. He'd memorized them before he could go on to the next chapter. And I've never even done that. So I thought that was pretty impressive, you know. But this is one of my favorites. And one of the things that Louise always said was, in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. And even though we may not believe that or feel that at the moment, it's to get into the mode of trusting life. And in fact, Louise wrote a book called Life Loves You with Robert Holden, and I have another book of hers called Trust Life. And so part of the whole process is really trusting in your inner guidance. Louise used to call it the inner ding. You know, that was her name for intuition. But this is this one. It's, in the infinity of life where I am, all is perfect, whole, and complete. I support myself, and life supports me. I see evidence of the law working all around me and in every area of my life. I reinforce that which I learn in joyous ways. My day begins with gratitude and joy. Gratitude. Let's talk more about that in a minute. I look forward to the adventures of the day, knowing that in my life all is good. I love who I am and all that I do. I am the loving expression of life. All is well in my world. And so it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think just listening to Louise's work, you know, and her words are just so soothing. And many people have said to me, you know, she's the mother, or she sounds like the mother I never had.
Mm.
And so she has that very much. And here in the US, we just had Mother's Day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like the mother that we never had. But gratitude, that's another piece of Louise's work. And it's so important to have a daily gratitude practice, you know, really being grateful for everything on every level in your life. And what I love too is, as time has gone on, because my PhD is in social psychology, and then I also trained as a therapist and worked as a psychologist in California for a number of years, the emerging field of positive psychology. And what do they talk about? Mindfulness, forgiveness, releasing the past, gratitude. You know, all the things that Louise taught years ago, these are in now positive psychology. And
Wow.
so we're really seeing it dovetailing with the scientific work. And another piece of the scientific work that I just think is so exciting, and that is work that actually shows that the synapses in your brain get stronger. And you know this, Lori, you know, when you're practicing gratitude, when you're practicing your affirmations. So that's why in the beginning, it's so important for you to be consistent, because you're building those synapses in your brain that those affirmations can more easily go down that pathway, and they can release the other pathways where you've been thinking negatively, right? So I really encourage people with their gratitude, with their affirmations and visualizations as well, you know, really bringing that energy and positive energy into whatever it is that you are creating. That's really important as well.
Right. Well, I was in a movie, called The Gratitude Experiment. Perhaps you'd like to have a
Oh,
copy of it.
wonderful. Yeah. Where can I
Yeah.
find it?
Well, you may be able to stream it now, but I have DVDs. Old technology now, of course. But anyway, in order to be in the film, we had to answer 50 questions on gratitude.
Oh, wow. Wonderful.
And if you did that, Then you got the movie. Oh, and then there was some pretty cool people like Bob Proctor is in there, and
Mhm.
Mary Morrissey, and just some different people. And it was all
Yeah.
about our perception of gratitude
Mhm.
and why that was so important in our daily practices.
Mm.
Because Mary says there's two types of gratitude. There's elementary, and then there's secondary. And the secondary is to be grateful for not just the great stuff in your life, but the things that you've experienced,
Yes.
right?
Right. Yep.
That
Yep.
weren't so great.
Yep. Because the challenges help us grow as much as we may not be thrilled with them at the moment. When
Yeah.
you talk to people and you talk about their past challenges, they often say exactly that, that they're so grateful for it because it really helped them grow in a particular way. The key is that you need to be open to the growth
Right.
because I also know people who have been faced with challenges and just really fell into a very negative, place about them because it was difficult. And
Yes.
so we don't want to ignore, we don't want to ignore difficulties or challenges or anything like that in Louise's work. It's certainly not all just, oh, it's so good. But it's about really appreciating, as you're saying, everything in your life and knowing that it all happens as a reason. And often, if you really go into it deeply, you'll find out that the challenge came up from some old belief that was just stuck in there
That's
that
right.
never got transformed, that, you're
Mhm.
still working with to be able to release that and change it. And it's just amazing to really talk to people who have done Louise's work. And there's a lot of other, places out there as well where people are offering transformation these days, which is great. But when I talk to people and work with all the trainees that Rick and I have worldwide, we have actually Heal Your Life workshop leaders and coaches in 70 countries
Wow.
worldwide. And about 40, let's see, the last count, I think it was about 42 or 43 states. So we're still missing a few in the US states. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some in every province in Canada. We have a
Hmm.
wonderful trainer in Canada as well. And so it's helping people to bring more love, not only to themselves, but to really love others. Because when you love yourself, you begin to understand others so much more deeply and that they are doing the best they can, even when it
Hmm.
not they look like it on the outside sometimes. But you're much more compassionate and caring for others and all the things that they're going through and their behaviors, because so much of it is in that subconscious mind,
Hmm.
trying to change those things that are in there.
Hmm.
So it's really important work. I'm delighted to be on the show today and be able to share all of this. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And I'd love for you to share your book that's just been translated.
Ah, yes. My
Yes,
book,
this is really
actually,
cool.
actually, the Cosmic Kitchen book has been translated into Spanish, Serbian, would you believe, Korean, and there's one other country, Dutch. But the most recent one is from Brazil, and it is called, in Brazilian, it's called Recipes for a Wonderful Life. And so this is my Brazilian book. Rick and I just got back from there from the launch of the book, and it was and his book as well. His is called Love Will Lead Us Home, and it has a new title in Portuguese. But we had a wonderful time with our trainer and Heal Your Life teachers and the public in Brazil. And we had a translator with us the entire time because a lot of people don't speak English. And I learned just a few words in Portuguese. I thought it was more like Spanish, and it's not.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was, no, it's not. It was quite a bit different, but I did learn a few, like bom dia is good day, and tudo bem is how are you, and obrigada is thank you.
Aha. The
Yeah.
main ones,
So,
the ones you need.
so I got a few. I don't know where is the bathroom. I haven't got that one yet. Anyway,
Well,
but it was.
I'm just excited to see another friend of mine just here on the show, Cheryl Wozniak. I haven't talked to you in a while, Cheryl, so we need to get in touch. And I loved what she said. I had my
Yes,
boys write in the journal every night before bed
right.
3 things you are thankful for that day, and I still have them.
Oh, that is
Oh, isn't that
wonderful. And
awesome?
yes, that's awesome. And what a wonderful mother they have to be
I
able to
know.
teach that at a young age.
I
Yeah, it's
know.
fantastic.
Isn't that great?
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Cheryl, we need to get in touch. I need to have you on the show. Yes,
Hmm.
yes. She has an amazing purpose here too, as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's see. One of the things I was going to say, when we were talking about the belief systems, the things that we buy into, That's really what happens, isn't it? Somebody tells us something and we actually believe it,
Right.
because maybe it's coming from somebody with a position, in a position of authority. So when our parents, teacher, clergy, police officers say something to us, we automatically assume it's true. And so, of course, as children, we don't have any filters.
Right.
So we take it all on, right? We don't know how to discern what's good for us and what's not.
Right.
What do you think?
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. And that's so why this work is just so important, to be able to understand that those messages came from someone who just on themselves was very unaware, and didn't really realize the impact of their words, and to be able to change that within yourself. And I think there's just, again, Louise's work is fabulous for doing that. Other work is great that's happening these days. There's just so much more awareness happening these days that it's fantastic. And while we were talking earlier, I was thinking of one of the Heal Your Life teachers, and she was told by someone in high school, don't even bother to try to get into college. You'll never get there. You're not doing well. You're da-da-da. Well, she has her master's degree now.
Yeah.
Because, and fortunately, she had some other people who supported her and said, no, come on, you can do it. You can go forward. And so she was able to change that and really go forward. And I think that's one of the marvelous things about this work, is you just see people burst forward, burst out, begin to blossom into, again, their life purpose and really what they're here to do in the world. One of the things that Rick and I really talk about a lot, right in line with Louise's work, is that we really believe that on the upper level, the highest level, for all of us, our life purpose is really about sharing love and really being compassionate and being of service to others. But then you bring it down to the personal level, and it's, what are your gifts? What's the gift that you have to bring? You're on the internet a lot with these shows and doing a fabulous job. Other people might be really good in nutrition and help people to eat better. Someone else is a spiritual minister. So there are just so many ways that you can really express your own gifts. And I think that's another beautiful part of this work, is to really find, okay, not only what is my overall life purpose about, but what are the gifts that I have that I can help others transform and inspire others. And when you do that, it's just the most gratifying feeling in the world. I'm sure you know that. It's really quite amazing to be, and humbling as well. Humbling. I feel humbled and grateful every day that Louise Hay trusted me and my husband to carry her legacy forward.
Absolutely.
That we have this licensing program with Hay House that she approved, so that we can officially train people in her work. And it's really just such a gratitude that I have for her and all the time that we spent together. And people do ask me, I'll just say, when the people ask, well, what was Louise Hay really like? They see her with her books. She's written her books, 30 books, I think, at last count. A few of them were published with her words after she passed, but 30 books, and she would be on stage. Something that surprises people, Louise was actually an introvert.
Oh, wow.
You would never know it seeing her on stage. She would be up there and she was so gracious and so comfortable. After years of practice of being up there, the first breakfast meeting I went to her with, where I saw her when I was speaking about that earlier, she actually didn't want to just talk. She said, okay, we're going to do a nice question and answer.
Right.
Because she liked other people to ask her something so that she could bring forward what was needed for that particular group.
Absolutely.
But people are very surprised when I tell them, no, she was an introvert.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. She would set her boundaries very clearly at I Can Do It conferences, and she had a small group of close friends that she really, felt very good with, etc. But she also walked her talk. Be careful around Louise. If you said a negative word, she would say, okay, let's think about that. Let's do something differently here. So she was good about kind of reminding you of really, what the words, how important the words are, and to just speak positively.
Kind of, our time is just about up, but it kind of reminds me, one time I was with the Mary Kay organization for 12 years. Mary Kay, I spent a lot of time there because she was still doing the training and the mentoring, especially when they opened up Canada. And, if she would say to you, so how are you doing today? And you'd say, well, I'm doing fine. She'd sort of tap you on the arm and say, you're not fine, you're great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. So thank you for being with us today, Patricia. It's always the fastest hour of the day for me, and it just flies by. And I look forward to having you back on the show down the road. There's people that I want to come back, on a regular basis, really, to especially in the work that we do. So thank you for being here today on a busy Monday morning.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And I want to just add one last thing for your listeners and viewers. Have fun with your affirmations. Have
Oh,
fun with
yes.
them. We'll talk next time more about some manifestations.
Right on.
Thank you so much, Lori, for having me. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Thank you. So you've been watching the Today Show here on the Disability Channel, streaming in about 15 different places right now. Thank you to our guests who appeared live today with us and had comments and left comments. Great to see you all back. And I look forward to tomorrow is Finance with our good friend, Dr. Amin Modiri, who has every financial accreditation you can get in the United States of America. And he does our finance show on Tuesday. So I don't know what he's got up his sleeve for tomorrow, but he's taking finance and turning it into fun. One day he did a show called the Mini Skirts and the Markets. And the length of a lady's skirt was directly linked to the stock market. And he explains that. It's just really a fun show. So tune in and listen in. And then on Wednesdays is Wellness. Thursday, we interview people from the Indigenous community and veterans. And on Fridays, it's a mixed bag of tricks, influencers, authors, celebrities, athletes, moms, whatever that we know have an important message. So thank you everyone for being here, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now. We'll give the royal wave, Patricia. Here in Canada, we have the royal wave.
Of course. Of course.
And Cheryl says nice. And thanks, ladies. Yes, thank you, ladies. And nice to see you back. Meaning me, I was on a little bit of a hiatus building this show. So here we are. All right.